Hi there, I'm Dylan. I'm a Mississippi-born U.S. Army veteran, and at the age of 29, I was diagnosed with a rare early-onset dementia. So, I left my job, and I'm traveling around the country meeting people and creating memories while I can. So hit subscribe and join me on my journey.
Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dan, and it is my honor to introduce you our main event here, Mr. Dylan Sims. Dylan, are you ready? Dylan, are you ready for the live show here on YouTube today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I'm in Buffalo,
but
so covered some miles.
Buffalo, New York. The last time we talked, you were in. Oh my gosh, I think you were in like Idaho. The last time we were live.
Yeah, yeah. I was in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho last Thursday. Yeah,
You can't get there from here. You can't get there from here. That's very interesting. Idaho to Buffalo. That is awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, live on our YouTube broadcast. If you have a chance to type in your questions, give your shout out, give your love to Dylan, we'll be sharing that and shouting out to anyone who's commenting in the chat. I wanted to call out a video, Dylan, that you recorded because as you go through and record your Dylan Does America adventure, which is again so awesome that you're doing this. There was a video that you had done where you stopped by in Chicago. I'm personally jealous because I've only ever had layovers in Chicago. I've never actually like gone out and explored Chicago. So the fact that you did this is just so tremendous and so awesome. I'm going to play that video
okay.
and walk me through what was it like being in Chicago.
Well, so this was of this trip. It was my second go in Chicago. So Route 66 starts in Chicago. That day that I started on Route 66, I might have mentioned it in the last week, but it was a rough go. I still tried it. I ended up kind of hightailing it out of Chicago before I really got to see everything I wanted to. And then this time, I just kind of took it a little bit easier. Planned a little bit more time just to kind of to be there, and just paid for the parking kind of thing, and was just a little bit more strategic. And I still eventually started getting a little bit uneasy, just with the crowds and the kind of so much stimulation. Sometimes is a little bit hard to manage, but yeah, so the bean is super cool though. It was like so I got there, it was really neat. Like I parked and there was this little rock climbing wall kind of right in the middle of town. I had no idea that was there last time.
Yeah,
So I'm really looking forward to kind of going back to Chicago on the third try. I'll make it a little bit more successful than I did this time. So
sure.
eventually I'm going to be able to go and spend as much time in Chicago as I want, and we'll see.
That's awesome. How much was parking?
Oh, it was like 21 an hour.
Oh, whoa,
Yeah,
that's killer.
yeah, but it was free charging, so
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. You get the free charging. That's right. Yeah, you can gas up wherever you go. That's really kind of cool.
yeah, sometimes.
Oh my gosh. Well that's my favorite clip of the week. We also have our co-host, Mr. Dave, on.
What up, Dave?
What's happening, Dave?
Oh, hey, Dylan. Oh,
Oh,
hey.
hi, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, I was excited to see that Chicago clip as well, although I wish you'd have gotten a deep dish pizza, but I know you didn't. So you're going to have to go to Chicago a third time.
Hey, that's it. That's the third reason I'll go to Chicago.
Yeah, to get the deep dish. We'll do some research.
Next
Or
time
if you have any
we can all agree.
suggestions, comment below.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've learned that Chicago's not that far away, in in perspective.
What's 1,000 miles when you're traveling the country?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, when you go from New Hampshire to LA, Chicago seems close. So,
Yeah.
but this brings us to our next clip. We were looking through some of your videos, Dylan, and we saw what looks to be like a pretty cool sunrise, like over the desert, or there's like the ridge with a whole bunch of RVs on it, and your hair looks awesome as always. Where were you?
So that's the Badlands in South Dakota. The whole little ridge line there is all just dispersed camping. There was probably 50 other campers there that night. It's all free.
Wow.
And you can see my car there in the back. Right now,
Yeah.
it's I was just kind of parked right on the ridge. It was it was sweet. And honestly, it was a half mile from the entrance to the national park, like the actual like little scenic loop and everything. So it was really cool access. It was between that and Wall, where Wall Drug is. I saw signs for that for many hundred miles. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a beautiful shot, and it's kind of interesting to think of all the different landscapes that we have here in this country. I mean, I didn't know that this wasn't in Patagonia or something. This is an awesome shot. But I do we you did have an event, Dylan, a couple days ago. Um, you had a memory loss event. This has occurred a couple times in the past. But this time you were in a situation to record it. So you did a confessional kind of in the morning, and we have a clip of it that we want to play for people.
Yeah, we play it and I'll talk. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
So, this is kind of, I guess, one of the first, or is this the first time since kind of being on this part of the trip? First time really being kind of solo when it happens. But so I lost some time. I'm very happy that I did not lose the sailing experience. Yeah, so I pretty much today is. Today's Tuesday, September 20th. Sailing was on Friday, I believe. Yeah, it was a Friday sunset sail. So, yeah, it's a decent chunk of time gone. Just kind of looking back at everything, just kind of getting my bearings more than anything. But I did wake up though, I woke up this morning just because, I set my alarm every night, and I woke up and my alarm was for 5:20 in the morning. I was like, what in the world? And so I woke up and kind of poked my head out and see where I was, and it was such a pleasant surprise, honestly. Yeah, it's kind of like Zach Bryan has this poem that he has on one of his albums. It's not even really a song. You don't even think he sings it, but he talks about knowing exactly where he is, but not knowing where he is. And so I definitely really feel that this morning. The Badlands have been a special place for me for 10 years, and so the fact that 10 years later I'm here and kind of not really in a crisis, but in a state of needing extra peace. We'll call it that. Yeah, so it's just waking up here, just listening to the wind, watching the sun come up. It's a new day, a new beginning.
Yeah. So let me start here. So Dylan, I think that if I woke up and I thought the last thing that had occurred was multiple days ago, and I didn't remember, I might have a very different response than to, be grateful that I was in such a nice place.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through what that looks like for you, like when that happens? And
Yeah, so I mean, I will say, I mean, I'm pretty fortunate to so far to be pretty self-aware when I have these time loss events. I usually kind of wake up knowing that I'm either not in the same place or something's different. And so at that point, I kind of just become observational and kind of evaluate what's around, and then usually that mixed with just checking my phone, kind of text or locations, and then I usually reach out to you, and then we kind of start assessing the time loss and kind of getting together what's necessary to kind of the pertinent information of the past few days. But my big thing is I don't like to kind of what's lost is lost. I don't really want to spend too much time trying to remember. I mean, that was what did we decide? That was almost 80 hours.
yeah, 80 something hour, 84
Yeah.
hours.
So if I spend 40 hours trying to remember the last 80 hours, that to me feels kind of like a waste of time, like a waste of an opportunity to make, today's memories. I don't want to spend today trying to remember yesterday. I just want to
Yeah,
remember
that is
today.
yeah, it's a really interesting approach, Dylan. I mean, and those conversations, this particular time, we identified that you feel a certain way the night before one of these events happened, and so the night prior, you had actually said that you felt foggy, and
Yeah.
we were talking, we're like, let's hope this doesn't happen in the morning, and it did. And when you texted me, it kind of ends up being one of those, all right, like, where am I? It's obviously Tuesday. I can see it on my phone. What happened? Anything I should know? Can you give me like a short recap, and then we're gonna kind of continue on the day. And I think it's really cool, like that you don't get stuck on it for too long, but you give it enough time to get your bearings and kind of keep going. So um, I kind of really admire your fortitude with that, Dylan.
Well, I appreciate it, Dave. Just kind of like in kind of like in a lighter way, just kind of put yourself in my shoes in this capacity. So I was my last memory was sunset sailing in Idaho, and I had a little bit of kind of like a fading memory after that. I didn't really remember going to sleep, but I do remember vividly going sailing and so we're gonna kind of get together with Dog Smile Adventures, and we'll kind of get to that in a second. But my last memory was sailing, sunset sailing, and it was just incredible. It was just the tranquility and the peacefulness of that. Like, it's so quiet versus like traditional boating. So it's so quiet. You can feel every like wave ripple. It was just I felt so small, but at the same time, it was I felt so like just connected at the same time. Um, but yeah, so that was incredible. And then I woke up like 5 day or how many days later,
Yeah, like
and
three and a half days later,
do
in the Badlands, 3.5 days later, in the Badlands of South Dakota for a sunrise. I mean, who gets to say that they went to sleep sailing in Idaho and woke up for the sunrise in the Badlands? I don't even know if that's possible unless you're taking a helicopter, Dylan. But it was
yeah,
possible for you. I'll tell you that much.
yeah, that's a
So
good point. It was wonderful. I mean, I woke up in like one of the most just one of the most peaceful places for me in my life, which are the Badlands. I kind of talked about that earlier, but yeah, it was just getting to kind of go to sleep, like, kind of wake up, remembering such peace, and then experiencing such peace in a pretty unpeaceful moment. I mean, all things considered, I'm not really in turmoil um, or anything like that. Like, I'm pretty calm in those situations thus far, but it's been, I think this week kind of just continued to kind of prove the concept of what we're trying to do and trying to document things best we can. And I'm so grateful that we kind of had the system in place so that I could um, get it all.
yeah, that's true. And like, you have some footage on your GoPro that you haven't maybe seen, I guess, in real life just yet. So that's
Yeah.
kind of like this is the living embodiment of your experiences too. This is what you can look back on. And I think that's a piece of this adventure that sometimes gets lost, but this is all stuff that's going to help you remember. And it's really cool.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely it's been incredible.
Yeah.
I have to say, just sitting on the side, because you guys have a really cool dynamic where you have this system in place. Dylan, I mean, for some people who may be just tuning in and watching, I mean, you at 29 years old were told that you have early onset dementia. I mean, that diagnosis in and of itself is just so it is life changing. It altered everything for you, and you handle it with such strength. You handle it with such strength, and how you continue to document things and move it forward. It was like an actual 51st dates kind of moment, where you had something to look back on, and Dave fills you in.
Yeah,
Hey, here's what happened. Don't worry, you did spend that $1,000. No, I'm kidding, but like that was you. But that would be an interesting thing on banking. But anyway, but it's really good to have this system, and it's fun. It's not fun, but it's exciting to be a part of and support your journey. Speaking of,
yeah, no, absolutely. I I'm pretty excited myself. Just that I have like I still have some footage that I haven't really seen and looked at really um, from that time loss event. So it's in a way it's kind of like I get to make those old memories new today,
Mhm.
for the moments that I wanted to capture. So that's kind of like that's my way of hopefully getting to hold on to the memories longer.
Yeah, and you got big prayers coming from home. It looks like Deborah Watts comments. We're all at
Yeah.
home praying big prayers for you. So
Oh,
you get some live comments, and
thank you.
Michael Roy gives you a wave. So you get some nice good love coming in from the chat.
Nice.
Speaking of the love, the support, I'd love to just kind of share some of the things that Dylan has up right now. You can follow Dylan on Instagram. He's at Dylan Does America. If you're not following him on Insta, you can get the real time view of all Dylan's cool pics. You know, Mount Rushmore, the cool sunsets, a lot of cool things that Dylan saw. You are quite the photographer, Dylan. Quite the photographer. So
I'm working on.
Definitely check that out. Where he's trying to smash that and get to 1,500 followers. Definitely check out his page, DylanDoesAmerica.com, and follow him on YouTube. And you can read all about Dylan, his military service, and check out more about ways to support Dylan. So a lot of cool things that you can do, all the different ways. So let me jump back here. But that's what we have for the support pages and the screen shares. Dylan, thanks for sharing your adventure. This is really awesome.
Yeah, I want to do one more little shout out, just back to Dog Smile Adventures. So John, the CEO or the leader over there, we kind of talked a little bit yesterday, just kind of touch base, and I'm really excited for some collaboration that we're going to do. We're going to try to do a little episode where we kind of introduce their nonprofit, but basically, what he wants to do is such a beautiful kind of mission. Really, he wants to take people sailing for therapy for free. That's kind of like the gist of it. And as a first time kind of experiencer of it, I had never been sailing and didn't really know what to expect. Didn't think it was going to be like all that special, honestly. And I was just, boy, was I wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I'm really excited to kind of work with him and kind of advocate for him as well. And yeah, I'm in Buffalo tonight. I'm gonna hang around, see Niagara Falls in the morning. So if you have any recommendations for that area, just let me know. And I'll be home. Probably me and Dave will probably be together next week when we go live.
That's awesome.
That'd be cool.
That's awesome. We'll get that scheduled and get that live up on YouTube for the next check-in, and we'll see what adventures you have, Dylan. This will be fun.
All right. Well, hey, don't forget to slow down and soak it in.
Hi there, I'm Dylan. I'm a Mississippi-born U.S. Army veteran, and at the age of 29, I was diagnosed with a rare early-onset dementia. So, I left my job, and I'm traveling around the country meeting people and creating memories while I can. So hit subscribe and join me on my journey.